and this is Success Mentorship class with number 347. That says one thing. We've been doing this for a while, and we've been doing it because you have supported it and been a part of it. Our topic today, I've toyed around with the title because I wanted to stimulate thought and reflection. And it started out as a new day, then a new start. And then it really evolved to the question, is it time to make a new start? And I chose this topic in this format because at this point we are at the last quarter of the year. We actually have 74 more days until the end of the year. Wow. 74 more days to create the life we said we wanted when we started out this year. And so the purpose of this talk today is to let all of us know that if we're going to get where we want to go, we may have to make some changes. And that we can do that anytime we desire. We can always make a new start. So often we wait too long to make the new start and put ourselves in a position where we don't have much wiggle room. You know, when you're facing the crisis in your life and procrastination has undermined your efforts, it's very easy to get into a situation where your options are limited and you just have to do the best you can with what you have to do it with. So before we get started, let us do our meditation to get us centered in the time and space that we need to be to create the vibration that we need to create for this lesson to take hold. So close your outer eyes, open your inner eyes, take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out slowly. And in this space of peace and relaxation, I am at peace with myself. Let us affirm that together. I am at peace with myself. Once more. I am at peace with myself. Just let that peace sink in. And in this space of peace and relaxation, my mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm that together. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And so it is. I like to start with a quote. And I love quotes because quotes are able to just sort of capsulate ideas and focus on a message. And the quote is from Guy Stanley. And he said, nothing in the universe can stop you from letting go and starting over. Nothing in the universe can stop you from letting go and starting over. You know, that's how the universe works. Every morning the sun rises, it spreads its glow over the earth. and it gives us a new day. The interesting thing is, no matter what happened the night before, the day before, no matter how dark, how painful, how disturbing the night before, the sun always rises. And so when I get that idea of the sun rising, we take our life lessons from the universe in many ways. Cycles are one. The universe operates in cycles. So the sun always rises, the moon rises at night. And the symbolism is that every day in our lives, we have the capacity to start a new day. That we can really look at a new day as an invitation to embrace the unknown, to reset our intentions, to get busy working on our goals. Each day is another opportunity to take another step on that journey to our goals, to our purpose, but with a renewed sense like, wow, whatever happened yesterday is done. The operative part of that quote from Guy Stanley is letting go. Because so often we can take a perfectly good day and muddy it up by dragging in the affairs of yesterday, by dragging in the pain of failures and disappointments of yesterday, which then transform today and limit its own possibilities. So there's two questions I think we have. It's like, when do I make a new start? And why do I make a new start? Mary Shelley said this: the beginning is always today. And so if you want to create the life you desire this year, achieve the things you say you wanted to achieve this year, then the time to take action is right now. And see, that's powerful. That means that right now you can make a new start. You don't have to stay stuck in yesterday's failures. Right now you can make a new start. You don't have to stay stuck in yesterday's relationships. That nothing goes forward with you other than that which you take with you. The sun of today takes nothing from the sun of yesterday, takes nothing from the night either. And so as we move forward, we have the capacity through our choices to create a new life for ourselves, a new day for ourselves, so that we can optimize the results we get. So, when do you make a new start? Right now, today, this day. Now, the other question is, why make a new start? With 74 days left in this year, you can continue to do the things that you've done. But the challenge with that is, if you keep doing the things that you've done, you'll keep getting the results that you've gotten. So then the question is, are you happy with the results that you're getting in your life right now? Are you happy with the performance, your level of performance right now? And so that's the question today that I want to pose, because with 74 days left to the end of this year, we have the ability to make choices and make changes right now that can make all the difference in our lives. And the other portion is this: that wherever we end this year is where we start next year. Wherever we end this year is where we start next year. That's a scary thought, folks, because if you end this year procrastinating and making excuses about what you could have done, should have done, would have done, then you have literally put yourself in a situation of repetition of what went on this year. And let me tell you something: even if this was a great year, you don't want to repeat it, you want it to get better. So what are some of the things to look for when we say, well, I want to make a new start. How do I know I need to make a new start? What are some of the signs? And there are always signs. The universe leaves clues, life leaves clues. And so let's look at 6 keys to let you know you need to make a new start. Number one, if you are going through a period of life upheaval, upheaval in your relationships, upheaval in your business, upheaval in your family, when you're going through a period of upheaval, there's a reason for that. That's a sign that something needs to change. If you're in a period of upheaval in your life, it's a clear sign that there's something wrong. Seems very elementary when I say it that way, but we often have this coping mechanism where we tend to pretend that everything is all right. And as long as we do that, we never experience the growth that's necessary to take us where we want to go. So if your life is in a period of upheaval, then I like to think about this. You know, in the Bible, it talks about Judgment Day. So, well, when is Judgment Day? Judgment Day is every day. Judgment Day is when we experience the products of the thoughts, emotions, habits, and relationships that we endure and we engage in. And so, if our life is in upheaval, that's a clear sign. It's time to make a change. It's time to make a new start. And when I say a new start, I mean a new start in your thoughts, in your emotions, in your actions, in your relationships. So that's number one. Number two, are you at the end of your rope? Now there's a whole dynamic about that. Are you at the end of your rope? Are you at that point in your life where everything has just gone wrong? Where you can't take one more failure? Where you can't take one more bad relationship? Where you can't take one more disappointment? And you know, it's amazing how we'll be in a situation like that in our lives. And even then, we tend to pretend that everything is okay. We resist change. And we resist change so much that we will stay in a bad situation just because we're fearful of the future. You know, Reverend Ike once asked Sister Mary, our proverbial Sister Mary, and he said, Sister Mary, she says, every day you complain about this man, your husband, he's not this, he's not that. Why don't you get rid of him? And she said, Reverend Ike, the devil I know is better than the devil I don't know. Now, isn't that an interesting statement? Because the devil is in her thinking. And so when we're in a situation where we're at the end of our rope, that's when we have to bare our chest. We have to open up the wounds and we have to see what is really going on. What do we really have to do to make this thing happen? We recognize that pain and change go hand in hand. That many times we don't make the change until there's enough pain that makes us say, I've had enough. We often talk about the dog sitting on the nail, and I've told that story very, very many times, but many times we'll be sitting on a nail of a bad relationship, a nail of bad habits, a nail of drugs, a nail of stuff that does not serve us, and we don't get off. When there's pain in your life, that's a sign that something no longer serves you, that something no longer fits you. And so don't run from it, embrace it. See, I'm trying to line in the sand because there's stuff going on that does not serve me, that is not good for me, and therefore I got to make a change. Many times our life doesn't fit our circumstances. Sometimes our life grows beyond our circumstances. It's like the prodigal son again. When your circumstances are real bad, you can transform them by seeing who you really are and that you are created by an all powerful God here for an important purpose. So when you're at the end of your rope, it's not to break you down, it's not to harm you, it's to guide you. Number three, I'll tell you this, folks. Sometimes we look at our lives and we say, "What is going on? Why am I experiencing what I'm experiencing?" And you have to say, "I'm tired of just surviving." We can get to a point in our lives where we spend all of our time surviving instead of thriving. We get comfortable in our comfort zone. we get so comfortable in mediocrity that we start making excuses and convincing ourselves that that's the way it was supposed to be, and it's not. We weren't put here to survive. We were put here to thrive. We were put here to grow. And so, at this point in our lives right now, if you if there's upheaval, if you're at the end of your rope, and that mindset says, "Hey, there's got to be something better than this. I was not put here to just go through this. I'm an eagle. Maybe I'm just surrounded by turkeys. Let me fly away." We have capacities that we don't even realize we have sometimes. And so once we get beyond that that thrival and that survival mentality to that thrival mentality, it's like some people look at a business and they'll say, "How much does it cost?" Coming from a survival mentality. Another person will look at the same business and say, "How much can I make?" Coming from a thrival mentality. And so if you're tired of merely surviving, then it's time to make a new start. Number four, is your present life too small to fit your dreams? Is your present life too small to fit your dreams? That's an interesting situation because when we look at our present lives and we see where we are, very often we'll let our condition determine our dreams. So turkeys only dream about being turkeys, where eagles dream of flying. So is your life too small to fit your dreams? If that's the case, it's time for a change. It's time to make a new start. It's time now to say, "Look, I got to do something different." There are three kinds of people in the world: there are clingers, there are campers, and there are climbers. Clingers are people who hang on to the past hurt, past disappointment. Whatever the things are that happened to them in the past, clingers hold on to those things. And clingers get stuck like a boat with the anchor always dropped. Clingers continue to go around in circles in a sea of mediocrity until they just run out of gas. Now, campers, I want you to imagine this. If you ever watch these mountain climbing uh, um, uh, uh, videos where it talks about when people climb Mount Everest, and you'll see that's a beautiful analogy, as a matter of fact. You'll have a whole group of people, like 100 people, that start out to climb the mountain. But then you have thousands of people who say, I'm not going up that mountain. They can't even see that the mountain exists. So the clingers cling to the forest and never go for the heights. The climbers go up. So you may have 100 people going up that mountain, but they get to a plateau, and certain folks in that group stop and they camp. They always say you make a base camp one, base camp two. And so in life, there's certain of us, certain times we get to a certain point on our success journey, on our happiness journey, and we stop. We accept that as all there is. And as they climb that mountain, they'll get to base camp two. And so the first group, 25 left, base camp two, another 25 or 30 stay. If you notice in these documentaries, when they get to the top, there's only one or two people. If you look at Admiral Perry and the young man who went with him to the North Pole, only two of them got to the top, and all of these men. So what this is saying is that the climbers the climber in you is that thing that drives you to keep going. That when you get to the top of one mountain, guess what? You see another one. So if you have some income goals, for example, many of us are entrepreneurs. And we often look at $10,000 a month as the gold standard. Whenever people talk to you about entrepreneurship, $10,000 a month or a six-figure income. A six-figure income is $8,400 a month. And that's kind of the gold standard. And there are people that will camp right there. It's interesting. They'll get right there at that six-figure income. They don't go any higher. But then there are those of us who are climbers, and we're like, if I can make six figures, I can make seven. Why not? So instead of $8,000 a month, $84,000 a month, I'm not. Instead of $8,400 a month, I go for 84,000. Now I'm making $1 million a year, seven figures. And so this idea of being a climber just says that you climb to the height of your capacity, to the height of your consciousness. Everybody doesn't want to make $1 million a year or $1 million a month. Many times we see contracts and they talk, oh, this person got a $100 million contract. I remember when Shaq signed his first $100 million contract. I was working with a group of young men and they did not even have a concept of what that meant. And that happens in many of us. And so we have to expand our life to support our dreams. That means we have to always be a student, always be a learner. That means we must learn how to access our higher powers through meditation, through transformation. The fifth key to this time to make a new start is your soul keeps calling. That somehow there's always this hunger inside to go to the next step. That no matter what happens, as you climb, as they say, the ladder to success, you get to higher and higher rungs. But once you get there and you bask in it, as a writer, once you write a couple of best-selling books, you probably, based on how the royalties work, you probably have enough money to, really live the rest of your life comfortably. But then there's something in your soul that says, I gotta do more. I gotta express something else. And I guarantee that every one of you who are listening today on Instagram, on Facebook, in our Zoom meeting, every one of you has something inside that's big. Something inside that's clamoring to get out. And the idea is you got to make a new start to let it out. Because when your soul starts calling, when you have dreams so big, remember this, you cannot have a dream that you cannot achieve. You see, we get stuck sometimes in the how. Even in the interpretation of the dream, we may dream of one thing. I'll give a nice example. Many people dream of wealth, making a lot of money. And we often see it happen. They'll make a lot of money, and then, man, their life sucks. Their families in disarray, their children off the chain. And at that point, they realize, aha, it was not money I was after, it's happiness. Money now, instead of becoming an objective, now becomes a tool. And so when your soul starts calling, let it fly. Go as high as it will drive you. That's where the power of faith comes in, which takes us to step 6. When you make this new start, when you on this journey to become the person that you were created to be, there'll be doubt. There'll be times when things don't work out. And that's where faith is key. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and everything evidence of things not seen. And so as you're entering these last 74 days of the year, and you clarify the goals that you want to achieve by the end of the year, you must have total faith that you can achieve them. And so when you have total faith that you can achieve them, now you begin to see proof. When I say everything says yes, you know that time when you accomplish something and there's that feeling of inside of like exhilaration. You're like, man, you walk in the bathroom, you look in the mirror, you go like, wow, this time it's me in the winner's circle. This time it's me who gets the prize. I mean, it lifts you up as you begin to see other people have great success. You know, many times when you see other people have great success, we can undermine our own potential to have the same success by being envious and jealous and by trying to devalue it based on where we are, our level of consciousness. So we know we need a change when we're going through an upheaval. We know we need to make a new start when we're at the end of our rope and the pain says you got to change. We know it's time to make a new start when you're tired of just surviving and you want to thrive. It's time to make a new start when your present life just does not support your dreams, where your dreams are so big that they suck your present life right into it. You know, it's time to make a change when your soul starts calling, when there's something inside that keeps saying, go for it, do it, do it, do it. And you know it's time to make a change when you begin to see proof, when you do a little bit and you get success, when you go an extra mile and you win the prize. So let's close with how you make it happen. Going forward, now that we know that the time is now to make the change, we know those signals that we need to make the change, then how do we go forward? Number one, set your intentions. You see, the moment you set the intention to create the life that you see in your dreams, you've created the vibrations that will help attract that experience into your life. Number two, be fully present. You know, your presence, what you recognize, you energize. What you energize, you realize. So as you go through the growth process, be fully present and experience the growth so that you get the benefits of it. And then third, embrace the future. Some people say the future is uncertain. No, the future is not uncertain. The future is inside your mind. Earl Nightingale said you become what you think about most of the time. And so when you make this new start, you embrace the future by having new thoughts, positive thoughts of abundance and positivity, positive emotions of faith and confidence and love, positive habits of organized planning, monitoring your success, developing a daily action plan, a daily method of operation that gets results. And the future is building relationships that empower you, that uplift you, and that make you feel a certain kind of way. So, folks, Is it time to make your new start? Only you know. But be honest with yourself. Take this lesson. And when you see yourself in the parts of this lesson, take the message and work with it. Because knowing that you can always make a new start, and that means you can always create a new ending. That means that you can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is. Just take a deep breath for a moment. Let it out. And so it is. Thank you so much for being with us on Instagram. Be sure to visit our website, herbertharris.com, and schedule a success appointment. Those of you on Facebook, be sure to visit our website, herbertharris.com, schedule a success appointment. Get a copy of the 12 Universal Laws of Success. But whatever you do, this should be your mantra. If it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me. You have the power to create the world exactly the way you want it to be, doing, being, and having anything you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is.